Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. We're continuing going through the head-to-head 10 matches. This is round 1 and match 2. This is the first park of match 2. This park is Lostileth by Extreme97 and Ottersalad, who both had 48% of the shares of the build, and Levis, who had 4. So essentially a duo park here between two really great builders. This is a Star Wars themed park, and I will be the first to admit that I am not super well versed in the Star Wars universe, but the tagline for this park is to explore the largest library in the galaxy at this planet in the Outer Rim. So let's do that. We've got some custom music, hopefully you can hear already, and some great rock work right off the bat. I love the water here with the water spouts and everything. It just makes it look so much more dynamic and really interesting in general. You've got these great cliffs and caves and everything. Love the fading out of the darkness in the caves. Adds a really another good level of dimension in there. Great fading out here from the gray or the black into the gray as we go up, and then the nice plants hanging off of everything. So there's a lot to see here. Let's start with the coaster because I like the coasters. So we've got a flying coaster here. So this is Banshee. Let's grab ourselves the train here because it's a little hard to follow on occasion. But it does intertwine here really well in and out of everything. We've got a pretty cool layout here. We've got this pretty sizable Cobra roll on the backside here. Don't really see terribly often on flying coasters. And then there's this sort of head first on the outside, yes, dive loop kind of roll. Not entirely sure how possible that'd be in real life, but pretty darn cool anyway. And I love this helix up and around the two guys here that are fighting on the platform here. So this, love Lostileth. And actually, there's quite a bit more of the coaster here as we come around. Of this implement that just pops up out of this big hole, which is pretty neat, and then kind of wraps around and finishes up down here underneath this platform. Another really cool use of the helixes throughout the whole thing. I do like that quite a bit. These platforms here with the various space vehicles, I guess, or spaceships going through. Pumbaa's Hurricanes team, I feel like they're always going to be dropping all sorts of frozen staff and clickable things and all that, so you can click on a lot of these staff members and everything. Need some major fixes mechanic here, so I always like that frozen staff that just help to really push the story along a little bit. There's also a really good use here of these kind of cutaway views on the side that don't actually use cutaway, but since we're on the edge of the map, we can really take a good look inside, which I do appreciate. Love these floating rocks right here. We have the Sith Lord Kinos here in the secret cave. This is always a little fun detail as far as those go in there. A lot of round architecture throughout really becomes sort of a theme in this whole space, and I feel like that's always sort of a bold choice because there's a certain limitation to what you can do with round architecture in this game, just because pieces aren't necessarily there, although they're getting there, and I think we do have a lot of new things. What's cool here is using the what kind of looks like the Colosseum piece here, and I don't know if it's the colorable version of that or if it's a custom thing entirely, but I do like that as the side because you kind of get that sort of old and new vibe where you've got a little bit of this sort of older architecture with the newer metal and pipes and, I guess, not necessarily steampunk, but sort of modern aesthetic for the whole thing. This is a cool walkway here with these curved stairs all the way up. A lot of little layers throughout the whole thing. In the side on this side, we get a couple of different cutaways here. So we've got some another Jedi down here, Banshee, and here's the cantina, I think, because we've been hearing the music throughout, and I see some music notes here, so this must be it. Yep, in the cantina. I feel like is a necessity if you're going to do any kind of Star Wars thing. Here's another little secret area down here. In the center, we've got these like hot springs going on, which I really like. I think this is maybe one of my favorite parts of the map, with the kind of cobblestone-y type texture here that just looks like kind of dried landscape that's sort of arid, and it just feels like it's maybe not a place that you want to spend a lot of time down in with the bubbling, sizzling water or whatever it may be. This is a cool sign here with the glowing behind it, and just using the old trick of brackets and percent signs and different things like that to make look like a foreign language. I always kind of do like that. Lots of little half-diagonal usage here with the pathways over top of this walkway, or this, what you would call it, I guess, sort of hot springs, which is pretty neat. Right here, there's a lot of little clickable stalls. So there's pizza place here. There's a couple of different. There's just plaza. Clearly, I can't read, but a lot of stalls used throughout, and you can see a couple more over here too. Really neat to see these custom ride vehicles, so you can kind of put them at different angles and everything, and really fill out the space in a less grid-like manner. It's a cool view up here, looking down on everything. Lots of this cool architecture integrated into the rocks, and the buildings themselves sort of integrated into the rocks. I feel like it's a very cool vibe through the whole thing. A lot of more technical stuff over here, cool control panels and everything. I do like the way that these are built into the space. And then I guess we get to the big door here, which or some portal of a kind, and we spin around for the reveal, which gives us the library itself, which I think is a pretty cool reveal at the back of the park. And I like how we started with the view all the way over here, and kind of make your way, exploring wise anyway, all the way over to the library itself, which is kind of the main feature of everything. And there's two things here. We'll start with the coaster, because so here we have the ransack of Lostileth. Probably not so good, but here's a spinning coaster with actually a pretty cool layout. Goes in and out of the stacks here with the books. A couple of track merges so we can get those tight corners, but also have the nice banked corners as well. Hopefully one day we'll get a track piece or a track type that can do all of those things, and will be very nice. But really works its way out and about through the space, and I think looks really nice. Get here from an angle. Cool curved. I think this is. Yep. So this is go through the whole space. And then over on this side, we've got the vehicles, which, if you're have a keen eye here, you may recognize these as the vehicles from Rise of the Resistance at the Disney parks. This is a pretty cool custom vehicle that I don't think existed before now. So that's pretty neat to see. A lot of these curved staircase uses. We've seen that a lot so far in the first couple of parts we've reviewed, and I'm here for it. I like seeing that kind of stuff used well, and certainly it is being used well. Down here we have our kind of secret battlegrounds, it looks like. Sith Master Levis, and like some maybe unfortunate blood of some things. Spinning around to this side, we've got a couple of extra scenes here, including this curved climb and this scene here through like a star portal of some kind. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing, but I like it, and it's nice to see dark rides just integrated into things, especially, I mean, I say dark ride even though it's largely outside or kind of cut away as we can see, but I do appreciate seeing that the ride is kind of winding its way through there. These rides, I feel like I am a little more forgiving about them going in and out of different things. Like for coasters, I want to be able to follow the thing relatively, kind of know where it's going. I don't want to have to be turning on and off invisible scenery throughout the whole thing, but I feel like dark rides, I'm more willing to go explore a little bit and go kind of dig through the whole thing. But it's pretty neat to see as far as the kind of windy track goes here, and this sort of falling apart little bits and pieces here. I'm not entirely sure how this vehicle is staying upright going over this, but hopefully it's holding up somehow. This is a neat waterfall coming through here, and I'm not entirely sure if this is meant to be like outdoors and we're just looking into some caves, or if this is meant to be covered over and we're just seeing it as a cutaway. But it's neat regardless. I do like all of this red architecture blending into greenery of the landscaping, and the landscape kind of growing over. I'm kind of a big fan of just overgrown landscaping in general. I think it looks really good. It just makes it feel more lived in, I suppose. This is a really great just landscape and rock work tutorial here if you ever to need that sort of thing. You get really nice use of the fish rocks and some other deco type pieces. Really nice use of the grasses and the flowers and these sort of leafy trees that really kind of blend in very nicely with some of the jungle scenery as well. So it works very nicely throughout the whole thing. I don't think we really looked at these buildings on this side either, so we got another round couple of buildings here, great waterfalls on the side, lots of just little details like the chimneys and the pennant flags and just all the kind of little junk that you would see kind of scattered about in the space. So lots of good detail throughout the whole thing. Got a nice little queue down here to these Terran Explorers, a little use of the flying saucer ride, which you don't see very often. Appreciate that. I feel like that's kind of a cool, at least. I feel like I've seen more than one parks, but lots of cool little bits and pieces and scenery that you wouldn't normally expect to see or look good necessarily, but really in this instance it looks pretty nice. And using some of the other colors, like the green is a secondary color on some of these rocks, we get a little bit of moss going through there. It's a good look. I think on the whole this is a very nice park. Certainly there's a lot of details here, and as a Star Wars fan, if you are one, you are probably going to get a lot more out of this as well. I just don't necessarily know the IP quite as well as maybe I ought to, but you should definitely download this. I'll put a download in the description of the video. You can check this out. You do need open RCT to view it. That's it for Lostileth. Well done to the Hurricanes team for this one, and we will be back next time with the opposing match, or the opposing park for this match. So until next time, thank you all very much for watching.